sit back, relax, and enjoy our presentation by Elizabeth Meza and Jasmine Hernandez, and they're going to do a great job for you today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to be here today. So my name is Elizabeth Meza, like Ms. mentioned. I'm a workforce outreach specialist with Workforce Solutions, Lower Rio Grande Valley. And with me today, I have.
So hi, good morning. My name is Jasmine Hernandez, and I am a student HireAbility Navigator with Lower Rio.
And today we're going to be talking about or presenting about empowering students through internal collaboration partnerships, meaning with not only ourselves as the education relations team, but also with other networks that we work with. There we go. So before we get started with everything, just a little bit of background about our Workforce Solutions Board. Lower Rio, our guiding principles are as follows. Our vision is an educated and skilled workforce enriching Lower Rio Grande Valley economic prosperity. Our mission is to provide job seekers the skills and businesses the talent they need to be successful. And our core values include integrity, innovation, inclusion, and impact. Our Workforce Solutions, Workforce Solutions itself, most of you might know, is one of the 28 workforce development boards in the state of Texas. Our board, Lower Rio Grande Valley, is identified as board number 23. And there are 6 career centers that serve Hidalgo, Starr, and Willacy County. So at this point, I would want to raise our hands to see who belongs to a board or a job center. Okay, good. How about who belongs with or who works with Texas Workforce Commission? Have a few. And any business partners here? Have one over there. One on the end. Good. So for our workforce boards, with Workforce Lower Rio, we have 6 centers that serve Hidalgo, Starr, and Willacy County.
So for those of you that are not aware, Texas Workforce Commission and Workforce Solutions are 2 completely different agencies. We do work hand in hand, but we're not the same. Texas Workforce Commission is a state agency and they do fund us compared to Workforce Solutions or the boards from around the state, right? They serve customers, and just so you know, you've probably also heard of Texas Workforce Solutions Vocational Rehabilitation Services. That is under Texas Workforce Commission. That is a different agency. We do work hand in hand and we have different purposes, but again, everything is to help job seekers obtain employment. I'm sorry, it's the little clicker's lagging a little bit. So when it comes to the services available in most boards, if not all of them, they do have general services for anybody that's interested in obtaining employment or seeking to obtain education. They do have internet access completely free. So anybody that's looking for a job is more than welcome to go to any of the job centers. They also have access to print, make copies or fax. Now, if they go to Office Depot, it may cost them about 14 cents a copy compared to Workforce Solution centers that it's completely free. We also have interview rooms. So since before the pandemic, everything started changing. Everything started to become more virtual. So a lot of employers, what they started doing is that they started doing virtual interviews. They do it to kind of narrow the candidates that they're going to speak to. So sometimes it happens that at home, I don't know if anybody has little kids at home or even other family members or even dogs. Sometimes it's not quiet. And sometimes you only have one chance to do your interview, especially if it's being recorded. And that's kind of hard. So if you contact your local Workforce Solution centers, they may have an opportunity for you to reserve an interview room. I know that when I was transferring from position to position within the organization, I had to go through a virtual interview. I waited until 11 p.m. to do my interview. And my kids woke up and they were like, "Mom," and they screamed and they got recorded. The good thing is that I had the opportunity to actually re-record. Not everybody has that opportunity. Also, what somebody may think is professional may not look professional in the background. We've had people that have a lot of different things in the background that can be distracting. Most rooms will have a blank or white background. They'll have access to the computer, to a microphone, and to the internet so you can feel comfortable doing so. They also offer resume writing workshops. Now, when it comes to job search assistance, we do use Work in Texas. Work in Texas is the biggest platform when it comes to job search. It has lots and lots of jobs, which is super awesome. If somebody does not, if you meet a parent, a student, or even if yourself, if you're looking for another job, so you can better improve your whatever you're interested in, right? We do work with Work in Texas. It may take from 45 minutes to 2 hours to complete an application from start to finish, depending on how comfortable you're feeling with the actual platform, or even how much experience you have. If you go to a center in your board area, they may be able to assist you with completing the application. And let's say that you know a student, or you know a parent, or somebody that you connected with, and you're trying to give them that information. They may be interested in working in an office, and they may just put office clerk when there's other positions like receptionist, file clerk, secretary, so they can help them out with that. When it comes to training, we do offer assistance with training. A lot of people do not know that Workforce Solutions helps with that. They have the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. Now, when it comes to training, the cost may be different for every board. For example, for Lower Rio, we pay up to $4,500 for a certificate and up to $9,000 for an associate's degree. You would have to connect with your local board to see what or how much they would pay for. For our board, we do cover schools and programs that are high in demand. So if it's something, for example, for a marine biologist that somebody's interested in, that's not something that we're going to cover in South Texas, right? Or if you live in El Paso, that's not going to be a job that they're going to be covering. We also have the work experience program. It is also under the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. So through the work experience program, customers between the ages of 16 through 24 can obtain work experiences. And this is super, super awesome because Workforce Solutions will pay them to obtain experience. So imagine if you go into the schools, which I know Elizabeth goes into the schools and I go into the schools, and we have students that are going through a CT program. They're getting their certificate as a nurse assistant, a CNA. We can be like, hey, you know what? You may qualify through this program. Make sure you contact your Workforce Solutions Center, and they can assist you to see if that's an option. For us, we place them at a side between 4 to 6 months, and they can work up to 35 hours a week, and we're the ones that pay them. So that's free labor for the employer, and then the students get something out of that. Now, if the student does a great job and the employer has the budget, the employer can decide to hire them afterwards or in between. If not, at least they have that experience on their resume. Now, with on-the-job training, the difference is that the employer will hire the job seeker compared to Workforce Solutions, where it's training through us. And as an incentive, we'll say to the employer, hey, you know what? If you provide this customer or job seeker the opportunity to obtain experience with your company, Workforce Solutions can reimburse a percentage of the wages back for up to 6 months, depending on what job it is. Now, when it comes to any of those services, we do offer support services. Every board is different, but for example, for Lower Rio, we do assist with clothing for either school or for work, utilities, mortgage, auto repairs, assistance with books and things like that, which can be very, very helpful. And not only that, but gas cards. Gas is super expensive. Have you seen how much gas is? Like half a tank for my vehicle is $40. So imagine if we have a student, a parent, or any job seeker that's going to school or going to work, and they're making minimum wage. All their money is going to go into gas. Workforce Solutions can actually assist them with gas cards. We also offer childcare services. Again, some boards may have a waiting list. Some of them are completely open, so you would have to contact your local board so they can help them out. Another thing that we like to tell job seekers is, as we work mainly with students, is daycare is really expensive. Does anybody have any kids here that go to daycare? No? Okay, so how much do you pay per week, per child? I don't know. So it's $200 a week. So in our area, it's about $90 to $120 a week. So imagine a job seeker that's making minimum wage and they have to pay $120, $200 per week in daycare, per child. Is that going to make them want to go to work? Probably not. So this is where Workforce Solutions comes in, and they're like, we're going to try to remove any barrier that you may have, and we can assist you with daycare. If they qualify, they may be able to qualify for up to 100% of that, that payment being waived, not waived, right? But where Workforce Solutions helps them out. And then just so you know, Anything under general, so job search assistance, training, and childcare, it has to be for somebody that is authorized to work in the United States. Now for childcare, as long as a child is eligible, then they can qualify. Now, we do know that a lot of individuals may need accommodations. So if you contact your local Workforce Solutions Center, they may have accommodations available. As you can see on the screen, we do have some that are, and I'm going to move forward a little bit. So we may have sign language interpreters as long as you request them with time. We require at least 24 hours in advance. There may be options for you to be able to go in there and use an adjustable workstation that can go up and down, and they're actually really neat. Enlarged print, Zoom text, screen reader, narrators, capsule phones, pocket talkers, and Sorensen phones. Now, the good thing about, and I'm going to move back this way. The good thing about Sorensen phones is that it's actually free. If you need it, or if you need it at your center, you can contact them and they will install one completely free for you. Or if you are a business, I know we have somebody in the back that is a business partner, they can do that as well.
So going into the education relations team. So me and Jasmine are both part of one team called Education Relations. And within that team, we do have separate roles, but we constantly work together to be able to collaborate and give that one goal, or be able to provide that goal to serving all students. And the way we do that, we service students in middle school and high school, as well as
Post-secondary education.
And then with parents, we provide our services in a holistic approach. So not only are we serving the students, but their parents, as well as the teachers, counselors, school administrators, and even region level staff with information that's going to help them be able to set up those more informed career pathways, so those more realistic career pathways. So we tailor our presentations in individual classrooms, small groups, large assemblies, and of course, virtual presentations. So during the pandemic, we did transition into virtual, where it has been very helpful. We've done platforms such as Zoom, Google Meets, Microsoft Teams, Cvent, you name it. Anything that we can get our hands on, we will be able to provide as long as we have access to that platform.
I'm going to go ahead and pause Elizabeth really fast. Do you guys know why it is really important for us to partner up with parents? No? Because they're minors. I saw somebody nodding their head. Why do you think it's important for parents to, and the lady with the red? Yes, that's you. So we do. And that's correct. And then another thing is that what we've learned from students is that they tell us, well, I want to be this, for example, I want to be a cosmetologist, but my mom's telling me to go into nursing. So if the parents don't know about the labor market information or what's behind it or the cost and things like that, sometimes their parents are not going to support it. And because of that, sometimes students go into degrees or certificates or anything that they can think about just to please their parents, which is not the correct thing to do sometimes, because what happens when they go into something that they're not interested in? They don't apply themselves. They go into college or university and they switch their major 7 times, right? It happens. About 20% of the students in their first year change their major at least twice. They get into debt, they finish their financial aid, they finish, and then they end up not working in that and they return to school. So we are trying to prevent all that from happening by giving them options and information so they can be more knowledgeable about it.
So the benefits for students, we equip students with information, and again, not only students, but everyone we serve, with exploring careers and post-secondary options, understanding the use of labor market data information. That way they're aware of where the jobs are at, where they have to go for a specific education. And not only that, we also help them navigate those TWC data tools in order for them to be able to practice that and be able to learn on their own, and I'll just give them their information, as well as frequently interview questions, soft skills, and resume writing. That way they're well prepared for the workforce, especially with those job readiness skills.
And again, I'm going to go ahead and pause Elizabeth on this one. With exploring careers, it is extremely, extremely important for them to do that. I remember when I was a youth counselor, we had two brothers that wanted to be EMTs. So they went through the WIOA program. We were paying for their program, and their mentality or their goal was, I'm going to become an EMT. I'm going to work with a nursing home, transfer the elderly people from the nursing home to the doctor or to the hospital and back. They didn't know that they were going to have to deal with death or anything like that. During their training, what happened was that they had to go to a scene and it was a car crash and the person had burned. They passed away. Both of them quit the program. They had not become aware of what the actual career act took, what it was, the whole scope of it. And both of them quit. One went to work for a bank and the other one went to go get his real estate license. So what happens? Both of them ended up in bad terms, not only with Workforce Solutions, but also with financial aid and STC. So that's really, really sad. Now, when it comes to post-secondary education, we've learned that a lot of students, especially in middle school, they want to leave the state so they can go to a university that has a really good football team. Guess what? If you leave the state, your tuition is going to be doubled sometimes even more. And not only that, just because they have a really great football team does not mean that they have the degree that you're interested in.
So the benefits for education staff is that we assist them with career fairs and career days, as well as not only us participating in those career fair days or expos, but also being able to recruit employers as businesses. That's how we collaborate with business partners. We also bring interactive displays such as selfie boards, as well as our VR headsets, where it has career simulations to be able for the students to explore those careers that are accessible through those simulations. We are also service and advisory boards, councils, and needs assessments. We provide notifications of workforce grants, especially the JAG grants. We are always in hand on what it is that where the JAG grant is posted up and when it's gonna when the deadline is. That way we can inform our educators about that, as well as the signature. We provide the signatures of high demand occupations letter, and then the labor market reports as well to them. So if they request a report, labor market information that they want us to provide them with for whatever career, we will be able to provide that for them.
So additional benefits of the ones that Elizabeth was mentioning, we can participate in advisory boards and councils, and that includes with school districts. They do take our input into consideration, and it happens because we do have a really, really good relationship with most of the school districts in the RGV, if not all of them. We also help with the participation and recruitment for transition fairs and career expos. Again, that happens because we have a good partnership and collaboration with business partners. We do presentations and trainings for educators, such as, but not limited to, disability awareness, disability etiquette, sensitivity, and resources. And we try to promote any type of trainings, presentations, or anything that we may have available to the school districts before the school year ends. And they do include us in their professional development during the beginning of the school year at around August. Sometimes they have some in October, and then they do have some in the spring semester. So when it comes to working with employers, building and nurturing relationships with employers is extremely important. If we do not build and nurture those relationships, we cannot go into the school districts and be able to help them out. And also we wouldn't be able to get that input from the employers, letting us know what they are seeking or needing from the potential job seekers in the future. So what we do with them is that we use them for either learning about work, so career fairs and things like that, learning about work, anything about informational interviews, job site visits, learning through work, so work experience sites, and then learning for work when we have the OJT. Okay, so when it comes to student HireAbility navigators, as student HireAbility navigators, we are system builders, so we promote, convene, collaborate, connect, and coordinate. When it comes to promoting, student HireAbility navigators promote and increase awareness about pre-employment transition services, also known as PREEDs, available to students in the workforce system, including vocational rehab and in the community. And we're sorry, the clicker, it's lagging. We convene and attend work groups, committees, events to foster system community coordination of pre-ETs. And also this comes in hand whenever we assist with needs assessments with the school districts. We collaborate with VR with other centers and employers to increase employer awareness, provide training and resources, and increase a variety of work-based learning opportunities. And work-based learning is anything that you can think about. As long as you connect with the employers, hey, if they can't do everything, ask them, what can you do back to the community? And you have to put it like that. You want to give, we know that you love helping out others. What are you willing to do? Are you willing to do a recording, job site visits? Are you willing to go to the school, a panel? You can get that again. If they say, I can't do this, give them options. Maybe they haven't thought about what they can do. We also connect and build partnerships with education to promote availability of pre-ETs and resources and tools, including LMCI tools, the labor market career information tools that we're going to talk about in a little bit, to schools, parents, and students. Coordinate and monitor implementation of innovative strategies developed in collaboration with VR system and community partners. Workforce Solutions Lower Rio does have a Padlet for disability trainings, and they're super nice and organized. So if you actually go into the QR code, and we will be providing a link of the Padlet later on, you will have access to actually view all the trainings. And then there's Google quizzes. They don't take more than 5 minutes. And if you do complete all of them, we can provide you a certificate. And it's nice to say, you know what, I'm a little bit more aware. Now, when it comes to VR, Texas Workforce Solutions Vocational Rehabilitation Services, they do have a really, really awesome QR code. It's called Start My VR. And we do like to promote this information, not only to students, but to parents and teachers. Because when it comes to VR being able to help out any individual that's wanting to work, they can help them out with whatever they need assistance. And sometimes they don't think about it. So we do promote it and we do provide that information. And then for any of you that may not know, they can assist you if you have things that you may not consider a disability. You do not have to be receiving a disability check. So if you have depression, anxiety, or anything that you may think is not a barrier, they can help you out with that. And I know we have another presentation later on where they can provide further information on it.
Now, with the educational resources and tools, we use so many educational resources. One of them was VR, as Jasmine mentioned, but other ones are such as the labor market information. Individuals don't know what labor market information is, so we provide them that information. We make them aware where, depending on the location that they want to look information on. We provide them with the education level. What is the typical education level needed for a certain degree, as well as the salary. What is the salary based on what that career or that occupation that they're seeking? The projections as well. In demand, are those occupations going to be in demand in the area they want to live in, or they're planning on building that career? Are there job openings available? Sometimes a lot of individuals, especially in high school, they're wanting to seek summer employment or wanting to seek a gateway opportunity while they're going through their education. So we provide that information to them as well. The skills that are needed, such as the hard skills and soft skills that are needed for a certain career. And there's other tools that we use that provide that information as well. And then experience. What is the experience that is needed for a certain occupation? Is it 2 years of experience that they need? Is it a five years experience? That way they could get to know what the occupation is requiring. So labor market information for job seekers and students, this provides them information of what industries and occupations are growing in the area, as well as how much do different occupations pay, what are the job openings in the area, and what are the hot jobs. That way they're aware if there's going to be an opportunity for them there. What education, training, and credentials do I need for a specific career? So as much as we have said that it is very important for them to know about their chances in finding employment, as well as the career they're seeking before they get into or invest time and money into a career. That way they can make a more informed decision.
Again, the clicker is giving us a little bit of a hard time.
So labor market for educators, why is this information important for educators as well? So what is the outlook for job opportunities in their area? What's growing and what's declining? That way they could build programs associated to or help build and talk to their counselors, talk to their administrators about what is out there, what is needed. That way they could build up programs within their school as well. What trainings should I offer to prepare students for current and future jobs as well? And what training programs do others offer in the area, not only in the school, but that's why it's important for us to be able to network with other industries, to be able to network with other schools, to be able to inform them of what is out there. And what careers offer the best prospect for youth, for adults, and for adults who are retraining.
So when it comes to labor market for businesses, some of the questions that it can answer for the actual businesses is what is the size and what are the skills of the workforce in places where I'm looking to expand and locate? If there is nobody that is trained in, let's say, working as in, I'm going to throw it out there, as engineers in the RGV, for example, a business is not going to want to relocate to that area if they're not going to have the staff to actually fill that. What is the outlook for employment growth in my state and industry? What is the average pay for positions like those I employ? They don't want to underpay, and then most of them are not going to want to overpay either. And how many job seekers are available in my area? What are their skills?
We know this too well. For labor market information for planners and policymakers, which industries and occupations need trained workers? Who make up the unemployed and underemployed? How do rural and urban economies and workforces differ? Are persons served by the nation's workforce system finding and maintaining employment? So to request labor market information, regardless of what board you're at or what board you work with, it's important to provide them with contact information, to be specific with the data that you are requesting from them, provide them with sufficient time, and include the due date. The screen does show a little example of what information that we do request for employers or anybody seeking labor market information through our board. But for educators, they're more than welcome to contact us. That way we could provide them that information faster as well.
And when it comes to labor market information for educators, not only do they use it to actually build their CTE programs, but they also use it to provide that information to students. Sometimes they give them the information in a raw setting, or not a raw setting, in a raw form, and the students are told, okay, they're given the assignment to complete a project around that, which is super awesome because that way it can actually stick with them.
Okay, now going into some of the popular tools that we use to be able to provide this information to students. One of them is Career Coach. Coach provides you with an inventory assessment. That way it has a 6 and a 60 question assessment where the students are able to either strongly like or strongly dislike, depending on what the statement says. And then after that, they are matched to several opportunities or several careers based on their interests. And then they're able to look up different post-secondary education as well as the continuing to explore careers within that education system. And then it is also equipped with an easy to use resume builder where they are able to select just edit the information on there. They're able to just pre-fill the information that is required, as well as if, for example, if they want to go into getting a gateway opportunity such as cashiering, all they have to do is type cashier and all the tasks for cashiering will appear at the end. So more or less, if they've never done that job, they can always just select any task that they are familiar with or they've done before that's related to that position. That way it builds a more professional resume for themselves.
The great thing about Career Coach is that it actually creates an account for them if they want to do it. If not, they can just do it and they save it to their computer. They're more than welcome to do so. The thing with Career Coach as well is that this specific one for our board area provides them the labor market information for our region. So if other boards have Career Coach, it will provide you specific information for that specific region. So for example, if somebody's interested in becoming a nurse practitioner, it will provide them the educational programs available in our area from the schools in that specific location. That way they can be aware of it. The live job postings, even though some of them are in middle school, they are aware of what they're looking for so they can know what to go into. So it's very specific. It also, like Elizabeth stated, it also states or provides them the information on the hard skills and the soft skills.
With Texas Career Check, it's similar to Career Coach, but this one is more for the state. But it also gives you information nationwide. If you go in there and you explore, try to play around with this tool, it'll give you great information. And all these tools are free, by the way. It does have an inventory assessment as well. This one, it does not have the option for you to save it as Career Coach does, but they're able to print it out as a PDF format or they're able to jot down the information of their results. That way they won't have to redo the assessment again. It also has that career exploration where they'll be able to explore different careers based on their matches, depending if they were able to complete the inventory assessment, as well as post-secondary education exploration. Again, with this tool, they don't have to do an assessment to be able to explore educations and explore careers, but we always encourage our students and educators, if they're going to provide this for their students, for them to use the inventory assessment. That way they will be better matched to careers based on their interests.
When it comes to the post-secondary education exploration, I don't know if you recall earlier when I stated that some schools want to leave the state for to go to a university with a really, really good football team. Well, this one has different tools where they can compare different universities. And this is where it's going to tell you, as an in-state student, this is how much it's going to cost you compared to if you are an out-of-state student. So this is really, really neat. And we actually have them complete assignments where they can get graded if the teacher chooses to do so. And later on, we can show you some of the forms that we use and that you're more than welcome to use as well. Even if it's for your own kids, it's really neat.
With Texas Reality Check, this one, how many of you have used this tool before? Right. So Texas Reality Check is one of our favorites. It just has a tally of the cost of living expenses, whether a student wants to have luxury items or not, being able to take them through the utility expenses as well. That way they have an idea of what it costs to live an adult life, right? So after that, then they're able to explore careers based on what they answered. A lot of times, maybe they choose a career that pays less than what their cost of living is. So then that's where they'll be able to kind of gauge, is this the right job for me or not? As well as it provides them with labor market information for the city that they selected within the state of Texas, as well as for the state of Texas, the average state of Texas, and labor market information nationwide, if I'm not mistaken, right, Jasmine?
So when it comes to us letting them know the reality of it for their future, we're not there to burst anybody's bubble. Kind of, a little bit, but it's more, we're not telling them like, hey, don't go for this because it doesn't pay that much. It's more of like, this is what you really want to do. Okay, that's fine. But be aware that if you want this type of lifestyle, you're not going to be able to afford it. Yes, you may go into a partnership, a marriage later on where you can share the cost and it may help out, but nobody should be depending on anyone, because we know that the reality is that sometimes things don't work out and then you're stuck just with your only source of income. Now, when it comes to the cost of living, it is very sad that a lot of parents try to shelter their students and they do not make them aware of what things really cost. And I see some people like nodding, and it's true. When I was going to the high schools, there was a student that told me that, because the way that we like to do it, it's like, okay, before we start the actual tool, how much do you think it's going to cost for you to live an amazing life the way that you want for it? Like, not going over, right? But the way that you want to live your life. We had a student state $5,000. I was like, no, it's per year. Are you saying per month? No, he thought that with $5,000 a year, he was gonna live an amazing life. He was gonna go out on vacations, have the best televisions, the best anything technology, that best car, gas. It's sad. And we're talking about a senior in high school that thought with $5,000 a year, he was gonna live an amazing life. He had not checked off that he was gonna pay for the water. So we're asking him, how are you gonna pay? How are you gonna take a shower? I'm just gonna turn, and he said it in Spanish, but he was like, I'm just gonna turn on the faucet outside and I'm gonna shower with that. Are you aware that that water is being paid for like your parents pay for that water and it's connected with the water inside? They were not aware of that. They do not know that their parents pay for water. They do not know how much the parents pay for light. They do not know that you have to pay for insurance for your car. They have no idea. And this is where we go and we're like, boop, reality, right? But like, and it's sad, but that's what we're there for.
Another tool that we use is interview stream prep. And interview stream prep, as virtual interviews have been more common than not nowadays, it is a great tool for them to be able to practice those mock interviews. So they're able to select from a bank of questions on what, depending on the occupation they want to go to, if they want to select those occupations, or if they're getting a gateway opportunity as well. That way they could practice their interviews. So with this tool, what it does, it has the capabilities.
And as she's clicking on it, just so you know, we do have employers also let us know, hey, these are the questions that we ask, and we let the educators know as well.
With interview stream prep, the capabilities, they are customizable to any device. So they can use it on a Mac computer, on a PC, on Windows, on a tablet, as well as the smartphone, if they have that accessible. So it's accessible to any device. It has expert tips and webinars as well, where they'll be able to kind of gauge of what to answer in a question for tell me about yourself, that icebreaker question that almost every employer asks, as well as the little webinars that they have on how to be able to use this tool. And like I mentioned, it's compatible to any device. It is conducive to distance learning, so they're able to use this at home. It's able to be given to students as homework if that is something that the educator wants to do.
And when it comes to being customizable, if they are from our board area, anybody, just so you know, anybody's welcome to use it. It could be a parent, a teacher, it could be somebody from California. It's completely free. It's there on our website. For our specific board area, we are able to customize it for the students based on how many retries they have. How long do they have to think about a question? How long do they have to answer the question? So it's really, really neat. And we like to throw out those random questions like, if you were 2 inches tall inside a blender and it's going to turn on in 30 seconds, how are you going to do it to get out? Because employers ask those random questions to see how their critical thinking skills are. Are they going to be able to solve problems? There's no correct answer, but this is where they're able to gauge how their soft skills are. So she's trying to click on it. The next one is the benefits.
The benefits, with the benefits that it provides, they're able to receive feedback. So let me see if I could go back. So they're able to get feedback based on, if you see on the screen, oh, I can't go on there. But if you see on the screen, there will be the feedback is timestamped. That way the student knows where they did good, or maybe they need more improvement. The educator will be able to do that. It's right there on the side. This is just a little screenshot of how interview stream prep looks after somebody has completed an interview. It also has places where they will be able to use, such as the filler word counts. For individuals just like myself, I use them a lot. Likes, they'll be able to count that through the interview. And with the more practice that they get, the less it becomes, or because they're more aware that they're using those words, they'll use them less often than not.
They'll be able to think back and say like, okay, I need to take a pause instead of saying, which is hard to do, guys.
So that's why it polishes students' answer. It is a project-based learning tool, and of course, it practices and enhances their soft skills. So not only will they be able to minimize those filler words, but also be able to see if they're keeping eye contact, if their communication, are they answering the question as they should. It also has prep controls such as the self-assessment. They're able to assess themselves, and then they're also able to provide the the question or the assessment to an educator, whoever they want to share it with, they're able to share it as well. I mentioned the filler word counts and the adding comments as well before. And then the prep evaluations, when they're sharing it with other individuals, they'll be able to see if their nonverbal communications skills as well as their verbal communications. And the other section,
The other would be if they're asked a question, if they're actually answering the question itself. Sometimes you think you're answering the question and you don't. So the great thing about this, like Elizabeth stated, is that it can be shared. So they can share it with their teacher, they can share it with their peers, with their parents, and they can get evaluated. And what we like to recommend is for, if they're going to share it with their peers, for the teachers to actually share it out with people that they normally do not group together with, because they're going to be honest. If they share it with their best, Elizabeth is my best friend at work, guys. So if I share my interview with Elizabeth, Elizabeth is going to tell me, Jasmine, you did awesome. There's no issue with your interview. And that's not the best thing for them. So we want them to get the best feedback and truthful feedback so they can do better. And what some teachers do is that at the beginning of the semester or the 6 weeks, depending on how they plan out their actual school year, they provide them with a pre-interview so they start doing the interview. Then later on, as they start learning skills, they are able to take the same questions again, and they actually see if there's any improvement and they use it as a grade. Students are also able to go in there by themselves and select the questions that they want to answer.
so based on a Harvard study and published by the Carnegie Foundation and Stanford Research Center study, it was composed that 85% of one's success at the workplace attribute to soft skills and only 15% to technical skills. And for that reason, one of our colleagues, one of our directors, created a job readiness curriculum tool that we use ourselves to be able to provide information and soft skills to students. So it has a lot of job readiness skills, but it concentrates a lot on soft skills such as active listening, coping with stress, problem solving, and conflict resolution, as well as this tool was also a good attribute from the student HireAbility navigators. They were able to come here and improvise this tool to provide 3 modules that are accessible for individuals with disabilities. Jasmine.
So we have Jeanette Lara and Ricky Rendon, amazing. Ricky Rendon is now with TWC, super awesome person. Well, not with TWC, he's with, well, VR is under TWC, right? But they actually added 3 additional modules, which are the career exploration, self-advocacy, and transition resources. So those modules actually increase the knowledge and skills necessary for individuals with disabilities to be successful in the workplace. Now, they don't only have to do those. They can do all of them. Everything on this curriculum is completely customizable. It's completely free. We do have it in a PDF version. We also have it in a Google Classroom, and we have it in our Google Drive. So people, bless you. So people are able to utilize it how they need it in the classroom. And we cannot emphasize how important soft skills are. They are extremely important because somebody can have the technical skills to actually do the job, but if they don't have those soft skills, they're not going to get anywhere. Sometimes they get fired, and sometimes they just stay in that same position because they don't have any interpersonal skills. They don't have time management skills, adaptability, and all those things are very, very crucial in the workplace.
So like Jasmine mentioned, we do have the job readiness curriculum in our Google Workspace as a Google Classroom, as well as a PDF formats in our drives. So our community shared drive has an option or has folders that include our community resources, such as any flyers that we have available of our services from our job centers, the E3 program, the youth program that's available. That way it could be given to the students as needed, as well as information about endorsements, the job readiness curriculum, the parental engagement. So we'll have videos on presentations that we've done with parents, as well as any popular tools, such as the ones that we presented, the job readiness curriculum, the Texas Career Check, Texas Reality Check, Career Coach, And then we also have a specific drive for soft skills where we recorded our presentations and we've been able to provide those presentations to anybody that is requesting our community share drive or our drive for each district. So we've actually created drives for every individual district. That way they will be able to have access, and any presentations that we do with those districts, we provide them for them on there as well. The Google Classroom, like I mentioned, or Jasmine mentioned, the job readiness curriculum is on there, as well as the disability awareness training.
And we'll be able to show you this in a little bit once we're done with, had a little bit of issues with the computer. So once we're done with the presentation, we'll move forward with that.
Another great tool that the Google Workspace has is our employer interview library. So our employer interview library is interviews that we've conducted with employers. That way the students will be able to get to know those specific careers or those occupations more one-on-one. And we constantly invite these employers to our youth expos, as well as when we're doing presentations and career fairs and career days as well, when we're recruiting employers. So we've done a number of interviews with different employers, and these are some of the employers that we work with. And towards the end, if we have time, we'll be able to provide you a little bit of view of those videos that we've done before. And then our workforce center tours. This is just a little bit of a view of what we've done. And when we work together, I've actually gone in there with our counterpart, Ms. Jeanette Lara, who's also a student HireAbility navigator, to be able to provide tours for students. So not only do we go to the centers to help them conduct the tours, but we also provide them those job skills that they need, such as soft skills, as well as information of VR services. That way they're more aware of if they need those services as well.
So for example, this last Friday, we did have a school district attend one of the tours. They requested it, and it was a Hidalgo ISD or Valley View ISD. They're very close together. And they brought a group of students, and they were able to listen or hear or learn about all the services the workforce offers. We did have the tour. They were able to learn how to use the adjustable workstations, the Captel phone, the Sorensen phone. We walked them through the back, and they were able to meet some of the VR counselors as well, which was great because some of them, due to the virtual setting from last school year, had not met their counselor before, and they were able to see what they're able to gain or what they can get from those VR counselors and how they can assist them later on when they graduate. And they were really excited. It was a really, really nice tour.
And then these are just some of the student presentations that I've done before with the Pathways Towards Independence program. This is an 18+ program with the PSJA high school. So our student HireAbility navigator was able to connect me with them, and I was able to provide them a presentation. So we're constantly collaborating together and working together to be able to provide these services to our students. So this is just with PSJ ISD. And then we also have our Padlet where we have all this information for you. So I'll give you all a few, maybe a minute or two to be able to scan that QR code. You can always just open up your camera phone, hover over that QR code, and it will link you to that. One way to access as well, once you have access to the Padlet, scroll to the left, because then you won't be able to see all the information that's on there.
To the right.
Yes, to the right, sorry. I don't know my left and right.
No, it's because she was thinking about it, like if she was holding it too, so you guys could see it. So it would have been.
Thank you, Jasmine. That's why she's my best friend.
That's right.
And then let's see if we could get into the Padlet itself. So on the Padlet, you'll have information about our education's relations team. You'll have our manager, Mr. David Gutierrez, on the very top with their contact information, and then it'll go on to the workforce outreach specialist and the student HireAbility navigator. So if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach us. I know I've gotten reached by other workforce outreach specialists on other information, and I'm more than welcome to help them out as well. And then we have the career and education outreach team. If you don't know your point of contact, that you'll be able to get that information from there, as well as the column for the student HireAbility navigators, the Texas Workforce Commission tools, popular tools. That's the ones that we discussed to give you easier access to them.
So it's actually the computer that's a little lagging. It was on the clicker.
And then the forms, if you are wanting to request access to the community shared drives, as we have spoken about, you are more than welcome to ask for access, and we will give you access within the end of the week if you request access today. And then we have the presentation there as well, and the evaluation. We are welcome to any feedback. So if you will be able to provide that information for us, complete the evaluation form. On our community partners drive, just to give you a little look of what it looks like. That's how all of our folders are, or all of our district drives are as well. They have the community resource folder where, and I'm afraid to click on it because
it's not showing. Wes is super awesome. Like, let's give Wes a round of applause so he can make it happen. Or maybe we can close the other tab. Thank you, Wes.
Thank you,
Again,
Wes.
another round of applause for Wes.
has a folder for the community resources. It has the endorsements folder where we have a lot of information on the endorsements. The job readiness curriculum, we actually have separated the student activities, or the students, not activities.
So there's 13 modules. So in the job readiness curriculum folder, you will see 13 different folders. Each folder then is split up into 2 different folders. One with the teacher assignments, or not the teacher, but a teacher folder and a student folder. The teacher folder will have the answer keys, the facilitator notes is going to let you know, okay, this is how you can start it off. This is the icebreaker, and these are the handouts in order. And then we have the student material, which is the one that Elizabeth is going to click on, or she has clicked on, but she's waiting for it to open. And that one will contain all the assignments, forms, and handouts in order. Again, everything's customizable, so you do not have to use all of them. It's there for whatever you need. You're the ones that know the people that you're working with.
And some of the teacher materials have bonus features such as a PowerPoint ready for the teacher to use as well. Not all of them, just some of them. Then we have the parental engagement, where it has the video presentations for presentations that we've done for parents, other presentations that we've done with school systems, and the student assignments has all those popular tools that we use with the students, and it has worksheets that we provide for students as well when we're doing workshops with students through these tools. You can gauge a little bit.
So now we have about 3 minutes before Q&A. So we're going to go into our employer interviews drive so you can have an idea of what it looks like. So in our employer interviews drive, you will see the different employer interviews, and there's actually a catalog at the very bottom that has, or is it on the top? I believe it's in the bottom of it, which contains information on who the employer is, what their job position is, a little description of it or of their background, how long the video is as well. And then each employer interview does have a short quiz just in case teachers or parents want to test out if the students were actually paying attention. We can't play the videos, it's just.
I'm trying to open the video catalog.
So it's really, really neat. And again, this wouldn't have been able to happen without that partnership with our employers.
So that completes our presentation. We'll open up the floor for any questions that you all might have.
I think we answered everybody's questions, right? We did so great that no questions and everybody's ready to go to lunch. Yes, ma'am.
It's open for anyone, but you do have to request access through our access request form. It is on our Padlet. If you were able to scan that QR code, it's going to be on the second column to the end.
Second to last.
Yes.
On the interview part of it, which is, I think it's great, because, you know, they lose their job, but I mean, can an older person use it too besides?
Yes, most definitely. We do have teachers that actually try to, they use it themselves, and we act, so anybody can use it. So if they're interested in working or even just enhancing those skills, it's there. Now, if they're not from our board area, we ourselves wouldn't be able to evaluate them or customize the questions, but they have access to everything else. And it can also be used for if students want to practice for their, if they want to practice for their questions for when they apply for universities and colleges and also scholarships.
Yes, more than likely. Yes.
So the question was if anybody can contact us, and we'll respond within 24 hours.
Any questions from the viewers virtually?
We did an awesome job. Give me 5, Elizabeth. And we joke around about it because we were talking about if we were friends, or we were work friends. And Elizabeth told me I was her work friend. So
My friend, Jasmine. She puts me on the spot all the time.
So I guess like the school district wants to, like, I guess they have to actually call y'all.
For a specific school district, every board has every board has a student HireAbility navigators. There's only some boards that have a workforce outreach specialist. On the columns, it has the contact information for what board has a workforce outreach specialist. You can always contact also Miss Lori Knight. She's with Texas Workforce Commission, and she will be able to direct you if you're not sure what board has a workforce outreach specialist. But right now, I believe there's about 14 boards. Am I correct, David? 14 boards that are equipped with a workforce outreach specialist.
And if your board does not have a workforce outreach specialist, then Lori's team is super awesome, and they like to travel outside of Austin, and they will go and help out as well.
It seems like the small school districts, because I mean, I worked for a school district for 22 years, and I don't think I've ever seen them. They'll come to us, at least the school district I was at, 2 of them. But I've never seen them work for school.
So what happens is that some school districts do not like to share the information. And even some staff members at a specific campus do not like to share the information with their other counterparts, because they like to, and Luis is a workforce outreach specialist, and he would, because they like to make sure that they have that information, and if they need it, that they're going to be available. So that does happen. But you're more than welcome to go through the actual contact list to see who's in charge or who's appointed in your board area. And if not, Ms. Lori and I can assist her and her team. And they do super awesome.
Around, like, Brenham area?
I'm sorry.
Brenham?
So what board area is that?
Is that Brazos Valley? Yeah.
Within 12 weeks, and they're making $50 an hour, which is more than somebody with a master sometimes. There's a lot of positions in the medical field that are therapists, and they make $30-40 an hour. And it could be a respiratory therapist, it can be an occupational therapist assistant, physical therapist assistant. It's just that people are not aware of that, and it's really sad. But hey, that's what we're there for, to promote all those jobs. And then also, for example, some people think, okay, I want to go into the medical field, I have to be a doctor. No, you can be a therapist, you can work in an office, you can be an engineer in the medical field as well. So this is where we go into and explain that information.
So there's no workforce outreach specialist for Brazos County or Brazos Board. So you will have to get in contact with Miss Lori Knight, and I could provide you with her contact information. Oh, okay, perfect.
Jasmine,
Yes, sir.
I just got, those of you who are needing Lori Knight's contact information, they actually have a booth outside. So she's there with Mr. Major Jones as well. So if any of you are looking for information on that, they do have a booth out there by the coffee.
So if nobody else has any questions, then I guess you guys have a little bit of time so you can go to the restroom or go get something to eat. Thank you guys for being here.